I just wanted to go over these manual override screws on the Lippert Hydac valves, or if you have the equalizer system, the Hydac valve may be the Parker type, and if so, that's what's on the Lippert hydraulic system as well. Or your equalizer hydraulic system could have the DV2 type cartridge valve, which is basically the same type of Hydac valve with a solenoid, electric solenoid on it, and it also uses a 5/32 Allen wrench to manually open the valve with. And this is the wrench that you need, and you need this short end, and we'll show you why here in just a second. Okay, so I have in position on the curbside Hydac valve if I wanted to manually open that, and we'll zoom in just a little bit more so that you can see where the Allen wrench is at on the end of the Hydac valve. You cannot see the Allen screw that goes into the Hydac cartridge itself, and with that Allen wrench inserted, there is maybe 3/4 of an inch room from the edge of that Allen wrench up to the flooring material that you see, which is up in the bedroom on the fifth wheel. So it's important that you have an Allen wrench that has a short end on it for this purpose. I've now relocated the Allen wrench down to the front landing gear. There's only one Hydac valve on that front landing gear, and we'll zoom in so that you can see where that Allen wrench is going in. And from the edge of my finger to the back edge of this paneling here is maybe 3/4 of an inch or half an inch, so there's not much room. And when you go to open one of these up, you would turn clockwise to open, and that would be viewed from the front. So we would be rotating it this direction, and when we close it, what you don't want to do is you don't want to reef this down. And you can see that I'm pressing with one finger, and that's what you want to use. And you want to come counterclockwise and counterclockwise until it's just finger snug, and that's all you need to do. If you reef this Allen head down on this Hydac cartridge, then what's probably going to happen is up inside this cartridge itself, that you can't see, where it goes up inside here in top of the upper plate assembly on the landing gear, it's going to unseat or damage the seal in there, and you're going to start getting a drip, and it's going to be noticeable right at the bottom of this plastic knob. And all this plastic knob does, and you can see that I loosened that up, all that does when I loosen this up is it holds the solenoid in place. It has nothing to do with the Hydac cartridge itself. And so its sole purpose is simply to hold the solenoid in place, and we'll tighten this back up. But if you see a leak right here, then more than likely what has happened is you have over tightened this when you used a manual override, and have damaged the seat that's inside on this Hydac cartridge valve. And so I'm going to show you a couple of video clips that Josh was kind enough to send to me when we were troubleshooting this problem. And I spoke with Josh and asked him if I could use his video clips, and he said that would be fine with him. And the intent is to show the video clips so that if you see a hydraulic leak and you're not sure what's causing the problem, Josh's video clips, and there are 3 of them, will probably shed some light on the problem at hand and what you need to do to fix it.
So after attempting to tighten this up and screw it in some more, this is what happened. Maybe I went in too far past the O-ring or blew the O-ring, I don't know. When I started to develop the leak, it was from this right here when I had it screwed all the way in. So I don't know, when you unscrew this, it looks like it had some sort of sealant on that thread there. I'm not sure, but I'll test this as well. But that's where that right there is definitely where the fluid was coming from, which it didn't come from there before until I screwed it all the way in, and then all of a sudden it was leaking right out of the tip here. So I'm not getting a good seal on that plug.
And it's fairly easy to change one of these Hydac cartridges. The solenoid just comes right off, and we're just walking around the back side of the Alpine out here today, and here in Idaho. It was real nice yesterday, and got up to about 75, down to 59 last night, but we're going to hit probably about 95 today, so it's going to get hot. And the key point that I'm trying to make with this video is you know, if and when you do have a problem with one of these Hydac cartridges, the ones in my Alpine are 8 years old, and knock on wood, so far I've not had any leaks, and they all have been operating perfectly. Some of that I attribute to the fact that I change the fluid in my reservoir once every 3 years, and my particular Alpine came from the factory running AW32 hydraulic oil, whereas a lot of the Alpines and a lot of other fifth wheels coming from the factory, they're coming with automatic transmission fluid, and you can easily identify the two. The transmission fluid's going to be red, and if you have AW32 hydraulic oil, it's going to be a light to clear honey brown color. But we'll put all this together, and we'll add Josh's clips in so that you can see the leak that developed on his Alpine, and he ordered the new cartridge. He didn't need the solenoid. They're two separate parts, so you don't need to buy something. You can save about $40 if you just buy the cartridge, if that's where your problem is at. And very simple to change. You don't need to go to a shop to have this done. If you've got basic mechanical skills and practice a few safety precautions, when you if it's on the front landing gear, you need to have the Alpine supported either with some jack stands or hooked up to the truck, and that way you won't blow fluid all over the place, and the front of the fifth wheel won't drop unexpectedly on you. And it's very easy to do, you know. Or you can take it to a dealership and pay somebody $300 or $400 in labor, plus probably they're going to jack up the percentage on their part, and plus you might have to wait 3-4 weeks for them to get around to it. So what we're trying to do is keep you out of these RV repair places and keep the cash in your pockets.